The Buffalo Bills journey to dominance in the NFL. Hey Bills Mafia, welcome to my channel, Bills News Consolidated. Today we're going to be discussing all the potential things the Buffalo Bills need to do in order to be dominant in the NFL. And I know the news today is that Derrick Henry and Von Miller were working out together and that Von Miller may very well be recruiting him to Buffalo, a potential trade for Brandon Beane. We know that Derrick Henry is going to get a hefty salary here. We know the debt situation for the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, a player like Derrick Henry sure as hell would help the Buffalo Bills, but does he fit what we are trying to do offensively? You know, taking a look at the success of the Kansas City Chiefs, all the years that they continue to win, perennial winners, we have to take a look at the Kansas City Chiefs and how they differ from the Buffalo Bills. You know, one thing I always think about here is that the Kansas City Chiefs, they have Andy Reid, right? One of the greatest offensive minds in the NFL. Is it fair for us to expect that Ken Dorsey and Aaron Kromer and Joe Brady and Kelly Skipper, all these guys on offense, can get to the level of offense of an Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce? I think it's a stretch. It's a stretch. But I know the Buffalo Bills are sure as hell trying to mimic the Kansas City Chiefs' success. So what ways are they trying to mimic the success? And I think it's by personnel. Having that star player, at least having one star player on offense. We have Stephon Diggs. They have Travis Kelce. And you take a look at the running back situation. More specifically, we know Kansas City Chiefs drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire very, very early in the NFL draft and didn't even use him this past season or in the Super Bowl. Isaiah Pacheco, another rookie, was signed, had the majority of snaps in the Super Bowl at 75 rushing yards. It's unbelievable. But another back we need to keep an eye on. It has been a crucial factor for the Kansas City Chiefs, who is also a free agent this year. It is Jerick McKinnon. He is 30 years old. I don't know how much money he's going to get just because he's a 30-year-old running back, but he is probably one of the best receiving running backs in the NFL. And statistically, he is the best out of all the available free agents this year. So when we look at the Buffalo Bills and what we are designed to do here, are we going to run the ball down people's throats in the I formation, like, for example, the Tennessee Titans with Derrick Henry? The reason why I don't like Derrick Henry is because we are primarily a passing team. We're going to pass the ball the majority of the time. You know, we have Nyheim Hines, we have James Cook. Derrick Henry thrown into there would literally be just a run. You know, I don't see Derrick Henry going out for the pass. Yes, screen plays and stuff like that. But guys, looking at the success of Derrick Henry with the Tennessee Titans, it's because the Tennessee Titans built around Derrick Henry. They are a run-first offense. They have run-blocking offensive linemen, and then you have Derrick Henry. It's a play-action offense. Yes, Josh Allen, actually 29% of all his passing yards came out of play-action last year, but the Bills are still passing the ball 59% of the time. I think the Buffalo Bills may very well want to double down on passing the ball, and I think having a dominant running back that can catch the ball out of the backfield like a James Cook, a Nyheim Hines, or a Jerick McKinnon in free agency would make a lot of sense. Now, thinking about this and knowing what the Buffalo Bills have on this team, how can we be dominant? How can we continue to be dominant against opposing teams? And it really is this defense, right? Knowing what the Buffalo Bills have on this team. Andy Reid, offensive-minded, head coach, offensive genius, coaching in the league for so long. What is our advantage? Leslie Frazier, who played on the 85 Bears. Sean McDermott, who's done awesome in the NFL. It's just absolutely amazing, and I think the Bills should double down on this defense and take a look at what we have defensively. Von Miller coming back, AJ Epinesa, Greg Rousseau, Boogie Basham on this defensive line, and we have Ed Oliver, DaQuan Jones. You know, what are we doing here? What are we doing? And knowing that Tremaine Edmonds is a free agent, Jordan Poyer is a free agent, we want to be dominant. and we need to be dominant. And another piece on this team I think is missing is a player opposite to Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver needs a big-time player right next to him in the interior to allow Ed Oliver to be one-on-one, for him to really utilize his speed. That is his strong suit. That's his strong suit. And I really believe the Buffalo Bills can be dominant in their own way. It's tough to mimic the Kansas City Chiefs simply because we don't have Andy Reid, we don't have Patrick Mahomes, and we sure don't have Travis Kelce. So there are some clear differences here that the Buffalo Bills need to consider. Is that consideration Derrick Henry? Are we going to really resort to really running the football there with Derrick Henry? It could happen, but again, the cap situation, and it's going to have to be a trade. What will the Buffalo Bills do with this NFL draft? I mean, will we give up a first-round draft pick for Derrick Henry, a second-round draft pick? What is Derrick Henry worth to this team? Now, Josh Allen, one thing I could maybe criticize here, and I don't think it's Josh Allen's fault, it's just Josh Allen seems to me to be more comfortable in shotgun. When Josh Allen is under center, when he has to turn his back to the play, I don't think any quarterback really likes that. And I think this offense really is limited when we do that. Utilizing play action, you have to really establish the run. You have to make teams believe that you're actually going to be running the football. Buffalo Bills didn't necessarily establish a threat running the football. And Josh Allen doesn't necessarily excel when he's under center. He's much better in the shotgun, doing what our players do best, keeping Josh Allen in shotgun, throwing that football around. And another area that the Bills should consider improving, and we can compare to the Cincinnati Bengals, is having that trio of wide receivers, having a dominant trio of wide receivers, okay? Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis, but really that slot position, right? What are we doing with that slot? And the proof is there with Brandon Beane. The past several years have been trying to bring players in, whether it was Cole Beasley, right? Jamison Crowder. We're trying to get more out of that position, even re-signing Isaiah McKenzie. It would be wise to find a dominant slot wide receiver in this year's NFL draft or even free agency. I'm worried about free agency because we don't even have the money to spend right now. So a guy like Jackson Smith-Njigba, I've mentioned in my previous videos, played primarily the slot position, got hit with a hamstring injury, so I think he could very well slide to the Buffalo Bills to 27th overall. He would be a perfect match with Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, and Jackson Smith-Njigba. Really liking that, and that's something that we could take from the Cincinnati Bengals. We have to merge, evolve this offense, Ken Dorsey says, and Sean McDermott. We know that we need to run the ball, but just like Brian Dable said before he left, we need to just be more efficient when we run it. It's not about running it more, it's about being more efficient when you run it. And I mentioned this in my last video, guys. Brian Dable was so criticized in Buffalo for not running the ball more. Brian Dable goes to the New York Giants. He goes with Saquon Barkley in this team, and he does what his players do best. He actually ran the ball a lot. They only passed the ball 52% of the time. So they were a much more balanced offense than any year that he was here in Buffalo. One factor because we have Josh Allen, and that was Daniel Jones. But the Bills need to continue their journey of dominance in the NFL. Whether it is getting a different running back or we have to really change things up offensively, scheme-wise, I don't know if that's going to happen. I think maybe the Bills have their own identity, their own trio of scat backs, add another wide receiver to get another trio of wide receivers, add another player next to Ed Oliver to be dominant on this defensive line, to shore up this defensive line, finally solidify that, utilize Trey White, Kaiir Elam, Christian Benford, Taron Johnson, Sear Neal, all these defensive backs that Sean McDermott has an awesome eye for talent for. We got Anderson, Maiden back there. Micah Hyde is definitely coming back. As long as we have one veteran presence at the safety position, I think that's huge. Yes, we were undefeated with Jordan Poyer back there at the safety spot last year, but it's also because Micah Hyde wasn't there, right? That was double the loss. I think with Micah Hyde coming back, it should definitely solidify things defensively. Buffalo Bills, we have to change things up. We've been beaten. And we have to be dominant. I think the focus here should be on dominance. Look, what is going to make us not only just beat the Kansas City Chiefs, not only make us beat the Cincinnati Bengals, we want to be perennial winners. We want to be dominant. So let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you agree. If you want Derrick Henry here, if you think he's going to be awesome, if he's the missing piece for the Buffalo Bills on this offense, I want to hear from you. So like, subscribe. I will check you guys soon. Go Bills. Peace.